But you know, there's all the fencing and stuff. Again, it's hard to make money as a professional fencer these days. But there's a bunch of skills and stuff like that. Now I'm getting into leatherworking and making armor, because you have to wear armor when you're playing the LARP game that me and my kid play. Also, surprisingly, not really a lot of work for armorers. But I've got a bunch of skills, but I've got a great skill set if we ever have some kind of EMP-driven apocalypse that also gets rid of guns. Although I've actually gotten into guns now. I'm doing a little bit of research, and I decided that it was enough. I knew enough old weapons that I went and found the finest killing technology that 1860 had to offer. So now I've got a Henry rifle, and I get to take that up to the range and shoot it. It's a lot of fun. You know, Shannon's got her SIG. Because, you know, for times like when I'm on tour and so on, and she's home by herself, just in case the 20-pound Bichon Frise is not enough. You know, she went out and got herself a gun, and it's like just like 20 bullets in it or something like that. It's incredible. It glows in the dark, and it's radioactive, and does some other stuff I don't even know about, but nor do I want to know about. But boy, I've got the repeating rifle on. I'm good. Got the Henry. Yeah.
So are you like trying to get a sponsorship from Burger King?
I am trying, and they will not talk to me. Yeah, they handed out prizes at the place in Houston. They had a trivia contest, and then for prizes they handed out 2 LARP swords to first and second place, and then third through seventh place got Burger King coupons. You know, so, and they had an extra Burger King coupon, so I got it. And went to Burger King that night. Let's go right here first.
I haven't been able to come up with the author's name, but I was pleasantly surprised to be reading another author's book, and he refers to Harry, and he visits the bar in Chicago. Are there any other little tricks like that out and about?
If there are, they didn't talk to me about them. But the thing okay, she says she's reading a book and she found a reference to an indirect reference to Harry Dresden and to people stopping at McAnally's bar in Chicago. And that was in one of the books by Justin Gustanis, who was he and I were in the Del Rey Online Writers Workshop together. So when there were these long howling discussions about the nature of writing craft, Justin and I often found ourselves on the same side. So we thought very similarly. I was like one of the first alumni of that, and the first book in that series, Black Magic Woman, Justin sent it to me and said, well, what do you think? And I read it and I said, I think this is going to break you in. What you need to do is turn this into a series, and you can use this kind of basis for it. He's like, oh my gosh, you're right. And he went and got himself a series sold. It's like, woohoo, I helped Justin. That was fun. That's one of the moments where it's like, oh, I love having the power of a writer.
Is there any books that are popular, like well-known, that you've read and you just...
Can you start again at the beginning?
Is there any books that are popular, well-known, that you've read and you just winced in pain from reading them?
Popular, well-known books that I've read that I winced in pain from reading. Well, I'm going to tell you what I told Patrick Nielsen Hayden at the very first con I was ever at, before I actually had anything actually published. It was only sold. But I was on a panel called Books That Needed Better Editors. And I was on it with Patrick Nielsen Hayden, who's the most awarded editor in fantasy, and Glenn Cook, who's also a veteran fantasy writer. And they were talking about their stuff, and I said, what do you think, Jim? And I said, well, I'm just getting started here. I don't really know a whole lot. I didn't really want to say anything, you know, too over the top. He's like, no, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say. And I said, all right. I think The Lord of the Rings could have used a lot of work. And here's why.
No, I feel the same.
And mostly what it amounted to was, you know, the first couple, until you get to like page 204 when Aragorn first shows up, really it's a whole lot of talk about people moving. And man, I'm not interested in reading 200 pages of somebody moving if it was me who was moving. I'm not even that interested enough to do that. I wouldn't want to be there for that, much less somebody else. And I, launched this discussion, and Pat argued with me, and he was much better at it than I was, so he won. But that was one. As far as books that have come out lately that I just winced at, I don't know. I really have. I tried to pick up The Relic and read it, and I really had problems with that. People kept getting lost in all the rooms underneath the museum. I seem to remember, and admittedly, it's supposed to be a real maze down there, but I finally just went, okay, you know what, I'm tired about reading about people who are lost and trying to find their way out. Okay, you got lost, you got eaten by the Cathoga, get over it. We don't have to draw it out this much. Let me think what else. There's been a lot of Stephen King books that I really didn't like. I didn't like The Gunslinger. I really didn't, sorry. I'm not sure it made me wince, but I just didn't care. That's really what a book's got to have. You got to make me care about somebody or something that's in it if I'm going to go all the way to the end. We're going to go with like one more question, and then we're going to get some stuff signed. Oh man, you're jumping up and down. He's obviously expending the most effort back here. Yeah.
All right. One question. It's very important. Thought over this for many sleepless nights. You took DNA from a wizard and were somehow able to, take that and clone it, and it grew. Would that wizard clone be able to use magic like a full wizard? Since it has been shown that magic is hereditary.
Well, it's hereditary, but not consistent. He would have the same chance of being able to use magic as any other child of the wizard.
So not unlike a head.
Something like that. I mean, it's not quite. It's not like you've got a gene for wizard and a gene for hedge mage. There's all kinds of things that go into it that make you, a heavyweight magic user or not. But yeah, you'd probably have about the same chances as the child of two wizards. I'm not sure you really can. They really can make the whole complete copy. Or I think you have some other weird issues. Or maybe not if you're a wizard though. If your DNA replicates clearly. So. Yeah, they don't have that. You're right. Could be. I don't know. I question whether the DNA would survive the highly technical process of being cloned if it was from a wizard. So
Good save. Lots of shit.
see that? Lightning fast dodge. All right, we're gonna do some signing books now.